I understand that they probably never even have experienced that because, as I just said, like, I hadn't even experienced that until we were together. But it is out there, and like people will try to act like we're the weird ones for saying this. For married women to be going to see half naked and naked men, I just don't understand the desire to do that.
The fact that you're doing it, even though you yourself wouldn't do anything wrong and you never would, that's not the point. And it's not a point of trust. It's not a point of insecurity. It's a point of that. How does that make me look like if my wife was out there getting, having some drinks at a nightclub?
Correct. And I just want to add, though, to what you said, because the way you're describing it, and I know why you're describing it this way, it makes it sound really hard.
Right.
To commit and to honor your commitment. And to be honest, I know why you explained it that way, because a lot of people treat it that way, right? Like a lot of things that we see on the internet I'm like, why did you even get married then? Why did you even pick this person? You act like you don't even like them.
Right.
So I wanted to add that committing to somebody, especially someone you married, should never feel hard.
Right, exactly.
Like it should never be like, oh, like I want to go out and, go to the bar and maybe talk to some guys and see what happens. Like, and, like that's natural. Like a lot of people like to justify the behaviors that you were talking about, like going out and getting drunk and cheating, or like being like, oh, I need to commit with like, oh, we're not supposed to be with only one person, or like it's natural to like be attracted to other people, and all these other things that I'm sure you have heard, and I'm sure there's other variations of what I just said that people have heard. But from someone, and we talk about this a lot, that used to maybe be in a relationship and still be committed, but also be like, oh, well, that person's attractive or whatever. Like now I never do that. Right. And so I think that people who are coming from a place of like what I just said, they maybe have just never had the connection where commitment seems like an absolute no-brainer.
Right.
Or like they're genuinely not attracted to other people because they're so attracted to their partner. I understand that they probably never even have experienced that because, as I just said, like I hadn't even experienced that until we were together. But it is out there, and like people will try to act like we're the weird ones for saying this. Yeah. But to be honest, like when you have the connection and you have the intimacy and you have the relationship that we have, it's a no-brainer. Like you said, that you want to be with this person. Commitment it's just a natural thing. There's no other way. Like there's just no other way. And then you're not like attracted to other people. Like you don't need to be like, oh, that person's attractive, or like, like that's not, or like going to a Chippendales thing. Like when we watched that episode, which we're still not completely done with the series, but I was just like, I can understand if they were all single. Yeah. It's even still not like the best thing, but I can understand it because they're single. It's like, whatever. They're just like going to Vegas to be wild and party. And they're not committed to anybody. So it's like, it's just their choice. Yeah. But for married women to be going to see half naked and naked men, some of them look like they were naked in the previews, just covered up with like a little hat or something. Right. I just don't understand the desire to do that. And again, maybe it comes from a place of I have no genuine desire to look at any other man really besides you. But I just don't get where that is acceptable, especially because even if they want to act like they'd be fine if their husbands were at a strip club, I doubt that their husbands would be at a strip club. And the other part that I understand as a woman is I do feel like in a situation like that, women can be faithful more than men. I'm not saying significantly more, but I think they can control themselves in situations like that a little bit more.
In a visual situation. Okay, sure. Yeah,
right.
I agree.
But it's still not ideal for anybody. But I'm just saying that I think women justify it because some women genuinely can go and it's not like that for them.
Right.
Like to that degree, like they're not going to be trying to hook up with the strippers.
Yeah.
But if a man went, they would potentially try to do something like that. Not all men, but I'm just saying that it's like,
it depends.
I think women justify it because of that rationale in their mind, right? But even when we were watching it, I'm like, if you love your husband like you say you do,
right,
why do you want to do this?
Right. Well, and the thing I think that's important, without sidetracking too much from the topic, but I guess it's related, is that the appearance of wrongdoing is wrong when you're in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, because the reason why it's wrong, the appearance of wrongdoing, is because it throws shade on your partner. Okay. And we talked about this a little bit before, but guys don't get this, or women don't get this, is that, look, yeah, I know that you, as a trustworthy person, I'm using the general, you, not you specifically, but it applies to you too. But I know that, like, well, I guess I could just use you. But if you went out to a nightclub with your girls and you had a couple of drinks, that you'd be completely faithful and you wouldn't do anything wrong, right? Mm-hmm. However, the fact that you're doing it, even though you yourself wouldn't do anything wrong and you never would, that's not the point. And it's not a point of trust. It's not a point of insecurity. It's a point of that. How does that make me look like if my wife is out there getting, having some drinks at a nightclub without me?
Well, and vice versa.
Right?
If you were out doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, how it makes your partner look. Yeah. Before the women come for you and being like, why is this guy just talking about himself? That's what he's most upset about. It goes the same way for women too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I think I talked about it on the podcast before. There's an old preacher, Billy Graham, right? He had this rule of, like, because a lot of preachers got involved in scandals or got accused, he was like, he just said, I will never be in a room with a woman alone. Right? If there's a woman, if she wants to talk to me, whatever it is, someone else has to be present.
What if it's your doctor?
Even the doctor, just that's his rule. Unless it's his wife, he's never in a room. Because, and the reason why is because he doesn't even want anyone to think that there's even any chance of him doing something. Like, he's getting rid of the appearance of wrongdoing, right? Because it's respectful to your partner to get rid of the appearance of wrongdoing. But that's not really the topic of the...
No, I just brought up the Mormon wives thing because you did talk about the Chippendales in the beginning with the freedom, right? And how they were making it seem like, I'm glad you're not a controlling husband. But it's like, and then they were making fun of that one girl, right? Because her husband was mad at her.
Right. Oh, yeah.
The Jen girl. And, like, I'm not saying that he was in the right, because I think he also, he was trying to also get away with gambling, and he's supposedly a Mormon, and I think that's not allowed or something. So I don't know. I think that was a whole mess. But the way that I've also seen other people, like, on social media be like, yeah, it was so refreshing to see so-and-so's couple relationship, like, so healthy that she could go. It's like, I think... Which is also why we started this podcast, that what people think is healthy is unhealthy, not. Because I think they have a mentality like that. Is his name Harry Brown from the first book we were talking about, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World? I think they think in their mind, oh, if the partners let the other person go do whatever they want, then that's healthy. And it's like, yes, that is healthy. You should let your partner do what they want to do. But at the same time, if you're in a marriage, you made a commitment. There are some things you should not be doing because of that commitment. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, if you have freedom to go and book a photographer, right? And, you could be like, hey, I want to do this sort of posing and stuff, and can you edit it this way? And they could be like, no, like, this is my style, you know what I mean? And if you signed a contract with them knowing their style, and you're still like, okay, well, I'm gonna still try to make them do that, like, you signed a contract. So
Right.
like they
Yeah, you
can
could.
tell you, no, I don't want to work with you because you're not listening to what they had to say, right? Like
Right.
you do have freedom to do what you want to do.
Right.
But also if you're involving somebody else and you have a contract with that person, which is
Right.
what marriage is, there are going to be certain things you should and shouldn't do, or a way that things should go.
Right.
Just like when you get married, you shouldn't cheat on them. You know,
Right.
you should work through things together, and you should stay with them through sickness and in health, just like you said in your vows, and richer or poor. Like that's a contract.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people, I think, are getting it confused. Like they hear a brown guy and being like, oh, well, if, you know, they see a girl going to Vegas and her husband being like, yeah, I don't care. To me, when I think it was Macy, when her husband was like, I don't care if you're going to Vegas with the girls, I was like, do you care about her at all?
Right.
Each other better than perfect. We stand